want to talk about?
Let's get it. Let's talk about the outdoors. Kind of our thing, our balance in life with nature. And yeah, man, I'm pretty curious as to if you have memories of being a child and being out in nature or hiking or anything in general that kind of sparked you. What got you into it?
I got introduced first to it by my aunt, and it was one of those, I don't want to even call it weird. It was, she was very like a spiritual person. She would make us walk outside barefoot.
Grounding.
Yeah, grounding. Wow. Yeah. So she said it was very healthy for us and whatever. And that was like that was one of my oldest memories that I still randomly have in my head.
That's
and
pretty
with
sweet.
All my little cousins, we would go in the backyard and she would make us walk barefoot and just feel the sticks, the dirt, the everything.
How old were you when this happened?
Man, tiny, dude. Less than 10 for sure. 6 probably. 6,
okay.
7.
Where were you living at the time?
We had just moved to the States and we were living with my other uncles in a duplex. And so it was like the whole family coming over from Romania, just getting set up. So we would go out into the backyard that was pretty big and we would just like walk around everywhere, feel everything with your feet. That was my first experience into like something naturey.
Okay.
You know, very weird. You're a little kid. You're like, oh my God, this is so fun. Of course, my cousins were like, this sucks. They were girls.
They older.
Yeah. Like same age, older, some younger. And they're like, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? And I was like, wow, like in my mind, I was like, this is so cool. So that was my first experience, but I really got introduced to like traditional hiking by an ex-girlfriend when I moved out to California. She first took me to, I think, where was it? The Sequoias? Not the Sequoias. Somewhere up in California. We went hiking and my head exploded, dude. I think it was the Sequoias.
So like a national park?
The national park. We went to the Sequoia National Park in California. I saw those giant trees.
Right.
And it blew me away, dude. I was in like a mystical land. I'm already like, I loved nature and stuff, but I never went out and experienced it. I just had moved to California to start college. Don't have much experience in the world with anything, you know, let alone like nature and stuff like that. And here comes this person that like loved to do this as a hobby and introduced me to it. And I was like, yeah, I'll go hiking and see what this stuff is about. Sure enough, picked a magical place, blew me away, saw these trees that were like absolutely enormous. You can drive cars under them, carved. I mean, just Google a sequoia tree and you can see how ridiculous a human being looks next to the base of one of these. It's like, how is this even real? So,
mind blown.
Mind blown, dude. No psychedelics involved. Mind blown. Yes. And I'm just like, wow, is this real? And I'm just like in awe, just walking around like, this is incredible. And that was my first real foray into hiking, dude. Okay. And then like nature really. And after that day of just like a complete awe and seeing things I never thought I'd see and having, you know, emotional reactions that I didn't think I would have, like, oh my God, you start to question, you know, things that would make you mad or your place in the world and how tiny you are. And it's just like you see all this crazy stuff and you're like, wow, there's so much more out here.
Right. Humbles you a little bit. Think about how old those trees are.
Exactly, dude. To see the size of it and just see how small you are. And I'm like, wow, how many thousands of years have these been here? And it's like, and then you start, you know, your mind wanders off into a lot of stuff. It's like, wow, dude, it's crazy.
That's a great introduction. Yeah, that's a good way to get going. So she was big into hiking?
She was huge. Like her whole family, they loved hiking, all this stuff. And then one of her ideas was like, hey, let's go hiking. And I'm over here like, well, oh man, I gotta go hiking. I gotta go do all this stuff, walking around to look at whatever, dude. Blah, here we go. I wasn't too negative about it. I was like, okay, cool. It's like I've never done it before. Might as well give it a shot, dude. Who knows? Whatever. She wanted to do it. Go hiking. It was complete opposite of what I was thinking. I was like, holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna start doing this myself. Now, this is incredible.
Right.
And then from there on out, it's like looking at places to hike. And she was super experienced. Knew like all the trails. Had been a whole bunch of places. And it's just take me everywhere. Please show me everything. And then like that's how I got in. And I was like starting to go everywhere, seeing like Yosemite and then like Lake Tahoe and all these other crazy places. And I was like, wow. And even till this day, there's still so much more, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't think you could do every trail or every hike.
But it's just that was my first foray and it completely changed me as a person. I have to say.
Yeah, it sounds incredible.
Mentally, it was like the beginning of something for me, hiking and like nature, reconnecting with nature, and like the healing effects that has just on your mentality as a person and your like mental health and well-being. Just knowing that any day now, if I feel down or out of a funk somehow, if I just go on a hike, I can reset.
That's huge.
And people don't have that reset, man. They're just stuck in every single day in the cubicle. They come home to their confined 4 squares, sharp corners, so unnatural. Like a house is so unnatural, you know?
Right.
The like sensory feedback you get from being out in nature, leaves rustling, wind hitting your skin, the warmth of the sun, birds chirping, singing to your ears. It's like it does something to you. It like re-energizes you. And we've had friends that we brought along on hikes too recently that have said like, I used to think hiking is like, who the hell does hiking? It's stupid.
Absolutely.
And then they're just like, their eyes are completely open and go, oh my God, I understand now. And you just try it.
Right. I really do think it helps. Like you said, it's more so that we spend so much time indoors. It almost feels unnatural to be outdoors when realistically all of our ancestors, you know, have always been outdoors. They've always lived out there until the last few generations, right?
Right.
So it's definitely one of those things I personally love to reconnect with. And like you said, when you're just feeling a little down, a little off, you can always go out in nature, put a few miles in. Not just that, but it's great physical exercise.
Yeah.
So it's like a double whammy. Not only am I getting my miles in, but now I can get out in nature, reflect on what's going on in my life, help bring balance back to everything. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's one of the best things that I think anyone can have under their belt as a little secret tool.
How did you start first?
I was lucky enough when I first moved to Arizona, my parents would take me to Squaw Peak, which is now Fiesta Pie. And we would do that hike. And I mean, that was brutal. As a kid, I wasn't having fun. No pack, no anything, just get to the top. My dad will always have oranges for us. And we just enjoy a nice little treat at the top. But I remember every time I made it to the top, I felt an overwhelming sense of pride, joy, happiness. You're overlooking the landscape. You're seeing for miles. There's no walls around you. It was really mind-blowing. And it was always so brutal to get up, but it was that reward of doing something so hard and then getting to this place. And that just stuck with me. I don't know what it was as a kid that really stuck with me, that like hard work pays when it comes to hiking and having these sceneries. And then when I got a little bit older, I was really lucky to have friends that were very into the outdoors, hunting, fishing, camping, which also led to them knowing all the spots, the hikes. And one day I got took to the spot in Sedona called Beaver Creek. And I went with, it was a friend from my gym at the time. He was trying to become a fighter, and we were staying with a couple of the other professional fighters there. So we all decided to do a little group since we were all in great shape. He's like, yeah, it's like 3.5 miles in. So maybe 7 round trip. And at the time I was mind blown. I was like, oh, that's a lot of miles. I'm not really I'm used to doing these hikes like Camelback, Squaw Peak, Lookout Mountain. These are maybe like a mile, mile and a half. Some have bigger elevation gains than others. But we went to this one, and the whole time, like you said, you're hearing the birds chirp. You're seeing the lizards go by, the wind's blowing, birds, everything. The water's right next to you the whole time. And then we just end up in the most gorgeous spot imaginable. One of the hikes that, we do to this day. It's almost like, very often, right? And I just remember going there and being like, I can't believe places like this exist. And I've never felt more relaxed, more at home. And like you said, it was just a nice place to clear my mind, kind of just sit back and take it all in. And not think about
life-changing day.
Exactly.
Wow.
Not think about all the stresses that you have on your life and just being in the moment. I think that's the biggest thing for me when I go out in nature, is just trying to be present, because obviously we all live in the past, we live in the future, depression, anxiety. But when you can just be in the moment and appreciative of what's in front of you, that's huge.
Oh yeah.
And that was the game changer for me. That is,
Creek,
I know, man.
That's why you love that place.
Yeah, that was
origin,
such a game changer for me, and it brings so much joy when I get to take different people there. And as you know, we've gone with others, like you said, we've had friends go out there, and they're just like, "Oh, I get it now." It's like, yes, because it's a little bit of work, you get to that reward, and then not only that, but now
enjoyment. It's
enjoyment.
Fun.
Yes,
yeah, dude. So yeah, the mental is what people don't know about. They think when you go hiking and the first thing they'll read up is, well, how long is the trail? oh my God, it's 3 miles out and 3 miles back. Like, do I want to do a 6 mile, for people that are thinking about it? The mental aspect is something nobody really talks about when you go hiking. They just say, yeah, it's calm, it's refreshing, it's, you can mentally reset, but it's like they don't really talk about what the mental reset is. And for me, dude, it's pulled me out of depression sometimes. Like I've had crazy moments, even, just pressure from life everywhere. And I'd go on a hike, a brutal one, that you introduce some physical strain into also that just primes your brain. And then you go on, Fossil Creek is one we love to do.
Right.
8 to 10 miles you'll do in a day. It's not too bad, but it's just being out there doing something. And then it puts you in a mind state of like, you're one with nature now. And not only are you one with nature, but you get time, dude. Finally, there's some time where you can just sit there and start thinking about things, because in the day-to-day life of everything that's going on, that phone is the devil, dude. It never gives you time to sit down and recollect your thoughts. And for me, going out there in nature, everything gets turned off. You lose contact with everybody.
Yeah, you have no choice.
You're isolated out there.
There are no cell signals out there.
There is no checking TikTok. There's no checking Instagram. There's no checking nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So getting that time to yourself is like what starts the healing process to a lot of, I don't know, whatever mental ailments, things that are stressing you out, anxiety, depression, whatever, name it. It starts with that first step, removing yourself from everybody.
Right.
And it's even better when you go out with a group of people. Funny enough, they're going through the same thing. You know what I mean? And it's just the energy matches. And man, I could finally sit down and think about some things, contemplate life, what I want out of life. You start having big kind of topics going on in your head, like, what do I want to do with my life? And I wonder why blah, 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 and this is happening. And, it's like that's the stuff you don't ever have time to think about in day to day, because the moment you wake up, alarm rings. You got to go do next thing on the schedule. What is it? Go work out, go to work. Boom, it's like 5 o'clock. You're in traffic, coming home. Hold on, gotta go eat real quick.
All
then go to the gym.
Different things around
and
us.
it's like, oh my God, hold on. Then there's the email I have to check in. Blah, blah, blah. Your mind is off somewhere again because you just checked your phone and now you just scrolled through TikTok for 20 minutes. And oh my God, you're on IG now. What's a post? It's like, dude, take a second. You know what I mean? That's why people are just so messed up mentally these days. They call them like snowflakes or whatever else fun names they give millennials, and they're like they're so soft mentally. It's like, dude, you and to their credit, I do think some of them are soft, but also like no generation has ever been mentally bombarded by information like everybody is today.
Absolutely. You're always having something to distract you.
Always.
There's a TV on, your phone is in your hand, or it's 2 feet away from you at all times. And that's where nature plays its part. You get out there and you're reconnecting with your roots.
Yeah.
There is no service. There's no signal. Hopefully you're going out with people that you can be around, and you'll find out quick if you can be around. Yeah. Like if you want to find out who's a close friend or not, go take them on an 8-mile hike. You'll see how much you want to talk to them. Mm-hmm. And hopefully you do. And if you don't, hopefully you all can sit in silence and, kind of absorb and take in those things, because I've used nature in that same sense, where like sometimes even with our crew, best friends, but it's good to just take a moment to not talk.
Exactly.
Just sit there.
And you see it too. You'll stop. You'll do whatever the end destination is of that hike. Once you finally get there, the relaxation sets in. You're like done hoofing it all the way over there. Right. And it's like, okay. Now
take the pack off. That's the feeling.
Yeah.
You get a heavy pack. You're 6 miles in. You take that pack off.
Yeah.
And it's like you're letting off all this pressure off your shoulders.
Exactly. And now you can just relax, man. And relaxing out there, disconnected, it's so different than just sitting at home on your couch, relaxing.
Even if you weren't looking at your phone, even if you weren't
You're
having
still
the TV
somehow
on.
like there in the back. Your mind is not fully let go. You're just like, the phone goes ding. You're back in it again, dude.
Back in it.
Oh my God. Yeah. So when you finally take your pack off and you're just out there relaxing, in all of the view, whatever the end of the hike is, the thing you're wanting to see, that just triggers everything, man, mentally.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you touched on it just a second ago, but you said also about doing a hike that's maybe more brutal than most. Because for me, that was a game changer too. Because I love hiking. I've hiked everywhere, all over Arizona. Great trails everywhere. But for some reason, it's the ones that are the most brutal that bring the most satisfaction. Something about that slight suffering.
Yes.
Having a heavy pack, going 10 plus miles. If a hike is under 10 miles round trip now, I consider it fairly easy, no matter what the elevation gain is. Like, wow, this is less than 10? All right, this is going to be an easy day for us. Because what did we do the other day? We hit a new milestone for our...
20.
Yeah, 20.
20.
That was double falls.
And a brutal 20 too.
Brutal 20.
Some of those hard miles.
Right.
Climbing up the mountains.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Not a normal 20.
So yeah, we're talking about Fossil Creek. There's double falls. So there's upper falls, lower falls. We missed our turn at some point. So we put an extra 3 in and then decided as a crew, we had to do a crew decision. How are we going to get back? Are we going to trailblaze it or just go back all those miles and decide to trailblaze it? Just kind of make our own path.
Save some miles.
We saved miles for sure, but
got there in the same amount of time.
It was not exactly the best decision, but it was. Like, now that it's all said and done and we made it,
I'm glad we did that.
I'm glad we did it.
And in the moment, you're like, why the hell are we doing this?
But it was one of those hikes when we were done, I felt very accomplished.
Oh, yeah.
Like, wow.
Dude, so yeah, the physical strain, I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is. It's just like it focuses your mind on just the moment of suck. You know what I mean? And it's just, it opens your brain up. You know, like Goggins does all that hard shit to get in his brain. It's the same thing when you go on a really hard hike, that sense of accomplishment and whatnot. It's there because in the moment for hours, you're just like, this sucks. Oh my God, this and that. And then you finally can rest when you take your pack off.
Exactly.
And then the pain starts again when you got to go back.
Right.
You know, but it primes you. You hiked 4 or 5 miles in, 10 miles in, and you're just like, God damn, that took forever. And then you're finally at that spot relaxing and your brain's already primed, dude. You're ready to think about everything. And, you know, like when we did the Fossil hike on the cold, wet day, raining, it's the same hike we've done a bunch of times. It's not hard. The cold made it difficult. The rain made it difficult. We were constantly uncomfortable, cold and wet.
Right.
And that primed our brains to, like, we really delved into some shit, you know? Went, swam in that cave, swam back out to get the packs. Our only shelter was a cave while it's like thunderstorming outside.
That was a huge growth day.
Dude, incredible. And it's the same hike we've always done. We just introduced 2 little variables that made it more difficult physically. Cold and wet. And so that's what gets you in your brain to have like this deep reconnection with your own self. Now you're able to have like a deeper conversation with yourself, more meaningful, because I don't know, it's like saying like the cold plunges, right? You get in there, it's like that sensory shock is so overloaded that once you come out of it, all of a sudden, like your brain was just spazzing out on cold. And now you just have, it's like calm. Now you can start thinking about other shit. It's crazy.
I still remember that day because it was because of how cold it was and how ready we were to suffer. But at the same time, you're just never ready to suffer,
you don't know
right?
What to expect, yeah.
You don't know what to expect. And we get down there and I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going in this water. There's no way. I don't have what it takes. And I look over at you and you're already stripping down to your swimsuit. And I said, I can't let him go in alone. And that's been the big thing for me is I love when we hike with the boys because I never let anyone go in the cold water alone. But if I see anyone about to go in, I know I'm going to go in with them.
Oh, yeah.
And seeing you get ready that day was like, look, there's something powerful about that too. Like knowing you're with someone. Like there's something about going through that experience together, I think formed a forever bond with us. Now we consider that day the suffering. We call it the suffering because there was so much pain, so much to push through that day. But we did it. We did it for hours. And it was a huge growth day.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been more uncomfortable in my life.
For real.
But I was also never more grateful to get out of that canyon. If anyone doesn't know, Fossil is a reverse hike. So going in is very easy. And then coming out is a brutal, steep incline to get out.
I could only remember at the very last portion, it's like gale force winds, we're in ponchos, water that's hitting our skin from the rain feels like icicles, it stings. Yes. And I'm just clicking my remote to the truck and I'm like, oh, I see the lights turn on and like washed over me, just relief, dude. I was like, it's over. Oh my God. And dude, for the next like month, I was just zen.
Exactly.
Guy cuts me off in traffic. I'm like, it's all right, buddy. I don't know what you're going through, but I hope you're all right. Because I just went through hell. This does not matter at all.
Nothing can faze you.
Nothing, dude. And it's just try to replicate that every day. And why not do it on a hike, dude? Because you don't have to be Goggins style, like kill yourself. You can do it in a manner that's like fun, not just straight pain and suffering.
He's a special human, so it's very hard for everyone to do that.
Right.
But like you said, you could find a degree of that and add it into something. You can
get that mental clarity through hiking. And then for everybody I've ever talked to, like they find it that way. And you don't have to go in the rain and whatever, just a normal hike alone, get some distance in and get to a beautiful spot that's like awe-inspiring, crystal clear water, whatever mountain view you get, whatever, man. And see what happens out there.
Yeah. And I think just for us, because we've done so many, we had to take it to that level.
Right. Yeah.
Because we've used nature to heal. Yeah. We've done it. So we needed to find that next notch. We needed to go to an 11 just so we could recenter ourselves. And a lot of that has to do with cold therapy. I really believe that cold therapy, the cold water plunges, like you having that chest freezer in the back now, like you learn a lot about yourself, and then you combine that with nature, and now you're just doubling down on the feelings of recentering yourself, reconnecting.
Yeah. And man, I don't know, I can't see myself never not doing it, and I could never see myself we're thinking about posting videos of our hikes and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, I would love to share this with the world and get people to do it some more, whether we're making money off of it or not. I'm like, dude, who cares? Like, I wake up excited to go do this stuff. Exactly. Nobody's forcing me, you know what I mean, to go out and do this stuff. And I think I don't know a single person that's went out on these hikes, like any hike, dude, that has an incredible view or whatnot and just goes, yeah, it wasn't for me. Like, that's a very weird response to this stuff. Like, everybody has that deep wanting to reconnect with nature. The body just loves it, dude.
Exactly.
Go out there and do it. I know it's weird for a lot of people that have never hiked in their life or are kind of averse to nature for some reason, because they've always had a sheltered in my house. I'm in my house gaming all day. I'm in my house doing whatever all day, going out
working remotely from home now or whatever it might be.
You're so disconnected that you don't even know this is what your body and mind are craving.
Right.
And man, it's like, I cannot praise hiking enough in nature.
Right. And I just recommend people that are maybe more timid getting into it. There's a lot of hikes that are easier. Water wheel up in Payson. It's only about 1.5 miles, and you can literally pull off at any point and find a gorgeous view.
Yeah.
There's a sand beach up there. There's all sorts of things.
Everywhere.
Like,
wherever
Arizona
lives.
has so much to offer when it comes to
everywhere,
hikes.
dude, all over the world. You have options. It's like people shouldn't be, well, I live here and there. It's like, dude, wherever you are, Norway, wherever you are, South Africa, I don't care where you are. There is somewhere nearby you that you can drive to that can shift your perspective in life in a way you would have never thought, dude. It's within reach, a drive away.
Right.
Take the leap, dude.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Start slow. You'll get up to those mileage. Nothing is really that hard. It's our minds that, kind of put that barrier on us. And really, it's not about it being hard sometimes. Sometimes it's just about letting go of what's in your head. Because again, that's to tie back into what we were saying. Like, I've gone into nature and helped heal from a lot of my parents divorcing, past relationships that have gone bad, or when I've been cheated on, different aspects of life in general. Or like you said, sometimes it's just the stress of life. Just as we grow and we change, like the most fearful thing in life is just change. We want to be comfortable, but life doesn't keep you comfortable.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't want you to be comfortable because you don't grow.
Exactly.
So you got to get out. You got to reset a little bit. And that's kind of the part about all these hikes. And one of the hikes I want to take you guys on, obviously, when we get there eventually, is Havasupai Falls, which is in Arizona. To me, is the 8th wonder of the world.
Right.
And it just has the most gorgeous landscape. Something about camping, you're out in nature, not just for the day, but now you're out there for multiple days. You're eating off what you packed in. They got a little bit of food down there. The Indians make this really good cinnamon Indian bread. Oh, it is phenomenal. And then obviously waterfalls. Like, people trip out when I tell them Arizona is full of waterfalls. Like, you just imagine Phoenix. Like, there's way more to Arizona than Phoenix.
Look, I'm one of the guilty ones that thought that, because my first experience with Arizona was driving back to Atlanta from California, quitting college to go work somewhere and then eventually start a business. And I go visit family I haven't seen since a kid, the aunt that did the bear grounding, whatever, exercises with us as kids. And I go see them after years later. I'm an adult and I'm my cousins are now adults too. And the first place they take me up to is Fossil Creek, dude, the lower falls. And I am absolutely shook. I cannot believe I'm thinking Arizona is like cartoon cactus, dust, rocks, nothing.
Coyote
dude.
run,
right?
Like,
one animal or two maybe. And I'm just like, holy hell, this place is just like heat and barren wasteland. And no, I'll go up like 2 hours north. After seeing their house, I was like in one of their rooms, and they had skis and stuff. I was like, why the hell do you guys have skis? You live in the desert. What are you doing? And they're like, no, dude, like 2 hours north it snows. Like, whatever. They're like, yeah, we're going to go on a hike. Hey, do you want to do this one? They're like searching for hikes, and they see Fossil Creek on Instagram, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that place looks pretty damn cool. I've never seen anything like it. Sure enough, dude, it's only a mile hike from the parking lot. And I'm like, okay, let's go on this, hike, see what we see. I start walking, half a mile in, you're starting to go parallel with the water, and I'm seeing turquoise, green, crystal clear waters, like shimmering. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Completely shook. I'm like, we're in Arizona right now. I cannot believe this. Come up on that lower waterfall, climb up to the top, jump it. But
how gorgeous is that?
Dude, just to come up on that and see the amount of water rushing down and the shimmering going on within the canyon walls, I could not believe it, dude. I was like, there is no way. I was already hiking in California, but this went to another level. Right. So I've never been a place like this before. It's special, dude.
It looks like something out of like the Jungle Book.
Dude, it looks, like the an oasis,
pools of water, yes.
Oh my God.
All the colors you can imagine. The water rushing over.
Exactly. And it blew me away, dude. And I was like, wow, Arizona, completely different. In some weird way, ended up back here. Like that left to tell you what an imprint hiking leaves, that left such a strong imprint on me that I was like, wow, I think I'm going to live here one day, because this is nuts. Because they took me like Boynton Canyon. They took me all over little Sedona town, seeing everything. I was like, wow, this place is crazy, dude. The views are crazy. Just to drive up to Sedona is crazy from Phoenix. It's like, wow, we're in the mountains. Like,
exactly.
Real mountains.
Things change quick.
Yeah.
That's only 90 minutes away.
Exactly. And that just like,
that left, world.
Dude, such a strong emotional response, and like imprinted me that even like when I was in Atlanta, I was like, somehow manifesting in my head, like formulating, like, how do I end up in Arizona? How do I live here? Because it's just that powerful of a response. Yeah. And then sure enough, dude, fast forward a few years, I'm somehow out here and made it happen. But hiking can have that effect on you, dude. You can go, that's what's nutty. You can go visit like, say, Oregon or something, be blown away by and somehow, some way you're going to like end up there. Right. Maybe if that like had that the same effect on you, you'll manifest in some weird way to get there.
Yeah, and that's funny because I've gone to Oregon just recently, last couple of weeks, and was out there hiking, doing all the different things that Oregon has to offer, and it really did have that effect on me. Wow. I'm a big nature guy. I love going out, and something about the energy out there, the vibe of everyone wanting to be out.
Super outdoorsy people out there.
It was very outdoorsy, and they were all just fit. They all wanted to eat healthy. It was just a really good environment to be around, especially as someone that tries to live that lifestyle on the daily. So going out there, I kind of had that same feeling, like I could be back here. Wow. I could live out here and explore all these trails, all these hikes. It was just great. The first hike we went to go do was Green Lakes, and this was only a couple weeks ago. In Arizona, we're hitting triple digits now. Everything's hot. We go up there and we end up doing the hike in the snow. There's 4 feet of snow everywhere, but it's also 75 degrees out and sunny. So I'm just in shorts, no shirt on, through the snow. It's really hard to explain to people, but those are some of the best hikes. They are so fun to imagine. It's cold with the snow, but it's a hot day where you can just be in your shorts.
Wow.
And then obviously there's some cold water there, which,
perfect.
We're not afraid of a little cold water therapy. It's almost becoming a challenge now to go inside the water. And I love getting to these hikes, and everyone's like, oh, the water's really cold here. I'm like, I don't know why that excites me now. I'm like, yes, I'm going in. And sure enough, the water up there was slightly colder than ours.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. But again, nothing compared to obviously the chest freezer you keep in the back at 31 degrees where ice is forming on the sides of it.
Pure pain.
Pure pain.
But that is the temperature thing you're talking about. The danger, dude, of hiking in Arizona. We see it a lot. People that don't plan accordingly in environments like this, or probably in general, dude, if you're going to do a hike in 100-degree weather and you don't bring water, or you're out there with just a water bottle.
How many times have we seen that?
Dude, trouble spells trouble, dude.
Too many.
How many people have you saved in the past year?
Yeah. Over 10.
There you go.
Over 10.
You see them get airlifted sometimes. I saw that at Camelback. It's crazy, dude. It's
They have the count now at Beaver Creek. They'll put it up for summertime. They'll say we have saved 43 people so far this summer.
Wow.
Bring at least 3 liters of water. I forget what the general rule of thumb is for most people. I mean, we hike a lot, so we kind of have our water dialed in. And then shout out also to the Life Straw. You know, Dan will bring a Life Straw and the whole bag.
Worst case scenario.
Where you can refill your own water in your pack, which is just, you know, invaluable. You can't put a price on that. And it's really not that expensive to get. But sure enough, every time we go out there, there's someone that needs to be rescued. Someone that didn't take into account what a 100+ degree day will do to you. That's freaking brutal, man. You don't realize how much you're drinking water and you need something to get out. And then also one of those things you put me onto, because I was a big hiker and then you moved out here and we started hiking a lot. And really you put me onto the salt pills, replenishing all the electrolytes in your muscles, your body, everything that you don't realize you're sweating out, because water is great, but sometimes it's not enough.
Yeah.
You need more.
Yeah.
You need to be doing what it takes to replenish your body for the amount of miles you're going to put
Packing, it's not as easy as just getting up and go, you know, on a hike. Like, oh yeah, let me drive there, walk over there, everything's good. Like, no, you'll get some nasty surprises, dude. Get yourself up, you know. And I don't want to say like hiking's expensive. It isn't at all. Just a backpack, just pack enough water, some snacks, and that's all you really need, dude. If you're gonna really push it and try to do these like 10+, 20+ mile hikes, like obviously research the correct gear to bring. There are accidents that happen out there. We've seen them. Remember the guy at Fossil Creek? We were hiking to the same spot we usually go to, and we sat down to have a little snack break, and the guy trips over the little creek bed rocks that are smooth and sometimes shift under your feet. Well, he goes, takes a spill. He tries to get back up, falls back down. So we're like, oh, he's hurt. Right. You know, it's like a pretty well-built dude. And he's just sitting there on the ground. The look on his girlfriend's face is like terror. You know, we're like, hey, wandering over, like, you guys are good? Like, are you fine? And then we look, his knee is split wide open, dude. You can see the bone. And he literally puts his fingers like between each side and like pries it open. You can see white bone there. And I'm like, oh, shit. This guy's hurt.
Yeah, there's a lot of miles to go.
Dude, you got a 4-way incline, like 4-mile incline up, dude. Brutal. Right. You know, and I remember telling him, I was like, bro, it's like I've had something similar happen with my elbow. Remember? I was like, well, your adrenaline's pumping. You can leave now, and you might not feel a lot of pain, or you can just hang out a little bit. It looks like a flesh wound. I'm pretty sure you're strong, dude. You can make it up there. And we hand him the med pack, and I'll never forget, his girl was just so like shocked at what happened and how his injury looked that she tried to grab a Band-Aid out of the little med kit, dude. Yes. And I was just looking at you like, what the hell is she doing? And we were just laughing about it later. But yeah, like when that happens out there and you're just alone.
Yeah.
Dude.
If you're in the moment, it's tough too. And if you don't have the experience, you don't really know what you're doing. And ultimately, that I know that guy was super grateful because you looked at him like, look, this is yours now. You gave him the whole med pack. And he was like, no way. You're like, this is why I bring it. Like, you need this right now. And that was the best recommendation, was to tell him to just get moving while your adrenaline's.
They ended up staying, remember? They just went up to the top waterfall and he chilled. I was like, must not hurt that bad. Who knows, dude? Maybe it was just a flesh wound and his bone's okay.
Right.
Who knows?
You have to be really careful on those rocks. Like you said, they shift. They're slippery. It's almost like black ice, or I don't even know how to explain it. It's like some sort of, that substance is so slippery that even our really nice shoes, there's no match for that.
And dude, and it could be a big looking boulder that looks fairly stable, and it will shift. It will shift right under you.
Do you remember what happened to you when you split your elbow?
You guys were walking ahead of me, and I was just zoned out looking up. And then I wasn't looking down. I had a walking stick too to help me, like third leg style, just go through there. And I shifted my weight on the stick to try to brace. And then I took a step without looking. I was too confident in the stick. I wasn't using it as a supplemental. I was using it as like my weight bearing fucking leg. And then I put my foot down, and all of a sudden the rock just shifts right under me, and I go, oop, right on my back. and it knocked the wind out of me because I fell flat almost immediately. Like I slipped completely.
The worst feeling.
The worst feeling. I was like, huh. And I was like, oh crap. Didn't feel anything in my elbow, whatever. I get back up. I'm like dizzy, like seeing stuff. I'm like, oh wow, I knocked the wind out of myself. And then I look and you guys are still walking. I'm like, okay. And I like shook my head and I was like, damn, that one's kind of sucked. Good thing I fell on my butt, you know. It dazed me a little bit, but I was like, whatever. Start walking. I put this, I grabbed a stick and I plant it down to take another step. And now I'm looking down. I feel like water going down my elbow. And I was like, wow. Oh, did I get wet? We're walking on creek beds. And I'm like, did I get wet? And I wiped my hand on my elbow and I was like, blood red, dude, covered completely. And I was like, oh shit. And then I'm like flipping my arm to try to see around and I can't see. I can't really see. And I'm just feeling skin like, dangling there. And I was like, ugh. And I was like, oh crap, this one's pretty bad. So I catch up to Louie, and I was like, hey, Louie, can you bandage me real quick? and I was like, how's it look? And he's like, yeah, it's not bad. And I was like, okay, yeah, just bandage it. And then I didn't feel any pain, like bone pain. It's just a good gash, dude, right. Like a J, shape in a J. And then, we're all hiking, whatever. And then like people are looking back and they're like, you good, dude? And I was like, yeah, just cut my elbow. I got to wrap it up. And then when we got back to the thing is when you guys first saw it,
yeah,
right?
To the crack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What'd you think when you saw it?
Dude, that was a great cut. As you know, I've been through my fair share of injuries and splitting skin open. And when I saw it, I was mostly just impressed by how nonchalant you were and how many miles we did, because you didn't complain once. And then we got back and you're like, hey, can you just rewrap this for me? And I was like, is you serious? That thing looked like just an open mouth. It was insane. Oh, but also sometimes like that adrenaline's kicking in. Mm-hmm. And luckily it was in a spot that you weren't constantly like, not on your leg, it was on your arm.
Yeah.
But still, that was a very nice cut. Yeah. And I remember that happened. Like I was like, where is Bo at? I like look back, I'm like, oh, we have put some distance on him. He must just be enjoying, the moment, enjoying the view. Sure enough, all it takes is one slip.
Dude, one slip, yeah.
And I'll definitely give you credit on always having a med kit with you. You always have the bandages. That time we were at West Clear, I slipped into a cactus, and we had 9 more miles to go, and I would have had barbs in my foot the whole time if it wasn't for that little first aid tweezer kit.
Dude, and sure enough, that was the first time I ever brought one of those, was when I split my elbow open.
And now,
first time ever.
And then because of that, I brought them with me on my last hike because the same thing happened. I was hiking by myself, got in that close situation where I missed my trail, was hanging off of a cliff and ended up sliding down into cactus. Long story. But to make it short, I ended up with a lot of barbs in me and I brought the tweezers. So the biggest thing I can recommend for people is bring some sort of bandages, first aid kit, tweezers. You never know. And it's very light. It's easy to pack and inexpensive.
Saves your life.
$20 kit.
Yep.
And I mean, it could save you tons of misery. And who knows if you might take it and help someone else along the way, which I think is such a cool thing that we do when we're out there. We tend to always help others out. We give them the extra water, the extra snacks, the salt pills, the cliff blocks, whatever it might be.
Yeah. So plan accordingly, guys. Yeah. Don't just go out there willy-nilly. Like, we're going to go hiking and have some fun, because everybody thinks that, oh, we're just going to go on a walk. We're going to get to this end point and cool, we're going to hang out a little bit and go back. And then all of a sudden you're like 3 miles in. You
never know what's going to happen. You can twist your ankle on the stupidest step. Like I've twisted my ankle just walking flat. And I'm glad I brought tape. Or like one time Dan was able to tape my leg up for me, tape my ankle up.
It happens,
and he's a cut man, so it felt great. The way he taped it up, I was like, I've never been treated so well. It was awesome. He put like a mini cast on me.
Yeah, and that stuff you can't plan for. It just randomly happens, dude. It can randomly happen on the last 2 minutes of your hike, literally on the way to the car.
Exactly.
Is when you're not paying attention, you take a wrong step, and then you're done for. That happened to me at Camelback. I got to the top, sprained my ankle bad the first time, and it was off a little step off of a rock. Just a little hop down, and I'm at the tippy top enjoying the view, and I'm like, yeah, let me just look around some more. I hop off a rock, immediately roll my ankle, roll it bad, and then now I'm hopping down the mountain, dude, and it's like one of those brutal days where I went too late. It's like 115 degrees out. It rained the day before, so it's humid too. I'm seeing like crews of rescue crews coming up, and they're like, yeah, we have to save somebody. They're having like a heat stroke. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And they're like, you good? And I was like, yeah, I just sprained my ankle a little bit. Dude, sure enough, my whole leg is like purple. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And it just happens, dude.
It does. It happens real quick. I saved a couple at Beaver Creek last summer. I was hiking out and I could notice this girl was limping. And then the guy with her, I stop and just casually ask him if they're good. And he kind of brushes me off a little bit. But I could tell, again, they had no packs on. They had no bottles of water in their hands. I know they weren't hiding them somewhere. It was very evident that they were underprepared in the way she was limping. I went against his judgment and I walked up until I had service and called firefighters for them.
Wow.
And they ended up coming in and helping them. And then when I got back to my car, they happened to be getting carried out they got an ATV ride out to the truck, and then the truck took them to the parking lot, and the girl just kind of gave me one of those hands up. She's like, thank you. Like that would have been a brutal 2.5 more miles out. But it was just like, man, don't let your ego get the best of you. And don't let someone you're with tell you how you're feeling. Like I could tell that guy was trying to speak for them. And I was like, look, she's limping. I've done this trail. It's, Beaver Creek, it's not flat. It's rocky. It's super hard to get a flat footing at all times.
Yeah, that's another thing. People overestimate their capabilities, dude, until you're really out there. You think like you're reading 4 or 5 miles sounds like nothing, dude. I walk 4 or 5 miles on the treadmill. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. When you introduce like uneven terrain, elevation changes, it's a lot more taxing on you. But don't let this discourage you from going. Like we're you know what I mean?
We're more trying to warn you.
This is the unexpected of what you can see.
90+% of the time when we hike, everything's flawless. It's a great time. But you want to be prepared for those moments, because if you're going out a lot, they're going to happen. We go out once a week. So we're upping our chances of things happening. So
one day something will happen. There. Somebody's going to twist something. Somebody's going to slide somewhere. I mean, it's rare. The hikes we do and going off trail, getting a little crazy, it's rare you don't come back with cuts, scrapes, somebody bleeding, something.
Exactly.
And that's the little stuff. That's like, okay, we left some behind there. It's normal, but there is going to be a day when somebody really gets hurt. It's happened almost a couple of times, like Louis sliding down the mountain. Our friend fell at least 10 feet. 10 feet.
Good 10, 15.
10, 15, slid down like a smooth canyon, little rock wall face or whatever. And luckily enough, caught his fall.
Yeah, he knows how to fall.
Yeah,
skateboarder, he knows how to fall.
But someone who would have taken that without a roll or knowing how to soften the landing, it shattered your ankle right there, dude. And the area we were in, good luck walking out.
Yeah, we're doing river miles, so that's a whole nother animal now too. So know your hike, do your research, know what you're getting yourself into,
and get some gear if you could, like something with GPS, a watch. Something that you can track where you're at. If you do get caught out on a longer hike and it turns dark.
Yeah, what would you say are your the items you like? What are the ones that really helped you?
To keep it basic, you really only get yourself like a GPS, like a sports watch. We use the Phoenix series, they work. It tracks you everywhere you go. So at the end of the day, if it gets dark and you run out of light, don't have a flashlight with you, whatever, and you're just guessing where the trail is, if it gets very rough, you can just look on your watch and retrace your steps. Literally, it'll guide you back. I think that's super important, especially if you're going on unfamiliar trails. Absolutely have that. And then it's just packing water and food for the amount of time you're going to be out there. So this is something you're going to judge when you do a little baby hike. You're going to find out. Yeah, you're going to find out how much water you consume, because you really don't know. Sometimes you'll take too much. Sometimes you take too little. And you'll get a happy medium, and then just nourishment for the time that you're there. You don't have to bring whole meals, and you won't even probably eat them anyway. Your body will crave something simple, so little snacks, stuff like that. And that's really all you need, a decent backpack that won't kill your shoulders when you're carrying stuff.
That was huge. Changing our backpacks was big.
If you just bring a normal school backpack, like I see a lot of people doing, just like, something that's not built to be heavy and carried around all day, will hurt you, man. Essentially, like an hour in, you're gonna want to throw that thing away, and the moment it comes off you, it's such a relief. If you have to have a moment of relief when your pack comes off, you got the wrong pack on. But the ones we have now, we have some packs that have this like bracing system on your waist, so that all the weight,
your hip line,
and it stays on your waist, and concentrates the weight of the pack on your waist. So you're carrying it in a very neutral position where you can stand upright, and the pack is just resting on your midsection instead of your shoulders, tugging on your shoulders constantly. Right. So that's key to me as a good back. I would invest in a good backpack first.
Oh, shoes too. Shoes. That was the one.
Oh, massive.
I remember I changed my game because I was just hiking in whatever, and then you got me a pair of nice in and out of water shoes, and then Henry had some nice pair on, and we decided to all upgrade. Yeah. And that was honestly a great game changer as far as thinking about how many miles we're putting in. Again, these are things people can build up to as you're doing more hikes, more intense hikes, wherever miles in and out of water. Obviously, all this kind of depends, right? But if you're just getting started, I think the basics for sure would be like the GPS watch, making sure you have the water, the food, good backpack,
good shoes, good backpack,
good shoes,
and then you can hoof it.
Yeah, and then from there you're figuring it out.
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than going on a hike you're excited to go for, and then you get some foot pain halfway in, and it's not because you're out of shape or anything. It's just because your shoes are not meant for that. Don't go out there with some Air Jordans, dude. Some tennis shoes. Don't go out there with Chucks. That's not what they're for.
My friends have come back with hurt feet. So I'll take them to Beaver. We'll just do 7 in and out, 7 total. But they'll be hurting.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Protect your feet and protect your shoulders and your back, the way you carry your weight. So, and then you have nothing to worry about. I would say, what else do you need? I think those are the main ones. You can start customizing gear and getting crazy with it and start spending thousands of dollars. You know how it is. You walk into REI and you're like, oh my God, I want all of that stuff. Dude, you don't need most of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll learn as a hiker, like less is more. You're going to want to pack a bunch of stuff and do all this stuff. And it's like, dude, you're going to start reducing down areas.
I could see us kind of becoming minimalist as we get further into these hikes,
because you notice like if you're doing any sort of climbing or terrain changes, having a big pack on kind of sucks. Messes with your balance.
That's what almost got me killed on that last hike, when I got off trail and all of a sudden I found myself on that cliff face, 40-foot drop on the boulders. If I didn't have a pack on, I would have been fine. It was the fact that I had a 50+ pound pack and it was shifting all over my body, wanting to tip me over. That's what really got me into trouble. And ultimately, I should have done the smart thing and just declipped, let that thing fall. But I was thinking about all the gear I had. I was thinking, wow, I need to save this stuff. When ultimately, that's not what was important at the time. But it made me realize that, sometimes simple is better.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going on a trail you don't know, you haven't been on yet. That was a big life lesson for sure.
And you don't learn this until it happens to you. That's
right. And I mean,
you know what I mean?
that's the kind of life for you, huh?
So,
the biggest lessons are the ones you go through.
I was going to say, do you and your family hike together at all?
You know what? That's a great question. My mom is super athletic. She's always trying to stay active and do spin classes, work out at the gym. She still hikes almost every...
So they're outdoorsy.
Yeah, wow. Super outdoorsy. My dad started me outdoors with these hikes, but has kind of gone into his own path and his own thing. But my mom has always stuck with it. She hikes once a week.
No way.
Works out 3-4 times a week. And then we did Beaver Creek together.
Really? Recently?
Yeah, within the last year.
Wow.
She thought it was just one of the most incredible places ever. And then she's the one that got me into do Havasu Pie Falls.
What?
So she bought my pass to go down there, which is a couple $100. It's pretty expensive to go down. Her sister, me and my cousin all went. So the 4 of us went out there. And it was good. We did about 12 miles in the first day and then 8 on the second day. And she's a beast. Yeah. Wow. When it comes to like putting in work, she's definitely not shy and she's down for it. And about Havasu Pie Falls, when you get to the 3rd waterfall, you have to like go down this crazy chain rope. And it's really sketchy for a lot of people, but she was just so game.
Wow.
And just really impressive, to see someone that's just, always about it, always trying to push themselves to do better. And has done something like that, their whole lives. So yeah, my family's very much so into nature and getting out there, which I wonder if that carries through your traits, in the generations.
So, and you meet, like talking about meeting people when you do hiking or the connections you form. It's incredible, dude. All my friends now hike. All of them that I've met, everybody that's super interesting that I've met, all from hiking.
It's a crazy bond you form now too.
And it's deep too, because it's sharing an experience together. Base level, sure, you went out in nature, saw some cool stuff, but you're missing all the little things in between of like both suffering. It's a hot as hell day. It's hard to get to this spot. Funny stuff happens. The conversations that you have when it's just you and said person or group that are going into the singular place, sharing like a singular goal, you know, and it's like, that's something that's so rare these days, man, that people don't get to experience, like the camaraderie and, you know, like brotherhood, and just something that is missing because what we always say, like, life is so fast these days. How hard is it to get a group of people together just to go out to eat?
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? And let alone, like, because when you're stuck into that, like, that, I don't know, that soup of the everyday grind where you're just like, okay, well, I have to do this. The phone rings. Got to check my email. What's going on the computer? TV, blah, blah. And then your friends hit you up to do something, and they're also going through the same thing. And it's just like the difficulty of bringing everybody out of that, you know, veil to go hike and just everybody disconnect.
Everybody.
Because if you go out to eat or go out to a bar, somebody's on their phone.
Exactly.
Dude. Somebody's disconnect. They're there, but not really.
Exactly.
And it's so weird, man. It's like I remember recently trying to go out with a couple of friends out at whatever restaurant, bar, and it's the same thing, dude. It's they showed up, but they're not present.
Exactly. That's a big thing. And that's because we're always looking to post something about it. We want to share the experience with the whole world, when really you're taking away from the experience you had with those friends. And that's what I think, like you were touching on, nature provides that for you. You're out there. You don't have service. There's no reason to be on your phone. Plus, just the views alone will leave you in awe. When you're hiking up and down the canyon, crossing the riverbed, you have to be so present and so focused on that moment. And I think the big one that you just said was the conversation you have with these people. You get to a deeper level. You talk about things you didn't think you would touch on. Good, bad, the ugly, the funny, the serious. It's great. It's a great time, especially if you're surrounded with good human beings, which I think we're fortunate enough to have.
Yeah, and it brings out the good vibes in everybody. You know, you do meet genuine people doing this stuff, and you make genuine connections that last. You know, it's a different feeling than going out to the movies with friends.
Exactly.
It's very superficial. Again, that whole experience of going out to the movies is you're distracted the entire time.
Exactly.
You're not really doing anything with the people next to you. You went out to go stare at a screen, and then for 5 minutes afterwards, everybody goes like, yeah, that was a cool movie. Sick.
Talk about it a little bit, maybe a little joke here and there, or some sort of connection.
Right. Someone's phone rings, someone's checking their email, someone's texting somebody, and they're like, all right, cool. We'll see you guys next time. What do you guys want to do next time? Blah, blah, blah. Superficial, dude. Your experience was trash. It cannot compare to being out there in nature for hours with somebody. And I don't know, that might make some people nervous, you know? It's like uncomfortable for some people to be that close or open up to somebody like that, but the benefits, man, cannot be overstated, I don't think.
It's almost like this natural therapy that doesn't cost much. You could make it cost as little or as much as you want.
Right.
And you can make it as long or as little as you want to last. But in a way, it's this really good natural therapy. Let go a little bit.
And yeah.
Get outside your head.
I've seen it in everybody, man. Somebody always takes something positive back and life-changing from every hike.
Right. Like Alex, that one day we took him out there, and you could tell it changed. And now he's taken people out there. He's told me, he's come back to me and said, look, I take friends there now, and I changed their lives. So it's this trickle down effect. It's this spider web that you don't even realize you're creating, because ultimately we're doing it because we're passionate about it. We enjoy it. We know what it does for us. We want to share that with others, and that comes across as genuine as you can. And it's really cool to see it touch someone else's life and now have that tangible reference where he comes up to me at the gym and says, look, I'm going here. And he invites me too, because it's like, it's one of those things like you just want everyone to come. You want everyone to have a good time. So I was like, yeah, you got to come next time.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, I can't make it, but hey, you're coming next time we go.
It's unfortunate that you can't go with too many people at once.
Yes. I've tried that.
Yeah.
I did 25 deep to Fossil, And it's like you said, it was great. It was a good experience, but you just can't connect with that many people. If anything, it almost starts to take away from the experience because you feel like you got to go talk or hang out with everyone. Like you just can't have that big of a group hang out together. Not that it was a bad experience. It's just like what we tend to do, 6, 7 people, whatever medium. It is. It's this happy medium where we can all huddle up still, share food, share snacks, share stories, still have a good time.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to dial our formula in pretty well.
That's nice, man. And then how are the effects for you post-hike, like that night and then the next few days?
That's a good thing. I'll even go a little deeper into that because the morning before or the night before, it feels like Christmas to me now. It's hard to sleep. I feel like a present is going to get opened the next day and I get all excited. I make sure my bag is all packed. I'm prepared the night before. I have a whole routine that I go into. And once I dial it in, it really sets the mood for the hike. So then obviously once we hike, we have a great time. That night, sleep like a baby. I feel like I earned the bed, you know? I feel like I put the miles in. The shower never felt better. It's a hot shower. Just personally, I like to shower in the dark once we get home from the hikes. There are no lights on, just in the dark, and I try to just go through all the memories, all the experiences from the day. Like try to be very grateful about what I got to experience, because we've talked about it before. We're doing these things on the weekly basis, bi-weekly sometimes. These are experiences people want to have. They're at home with their postcard of Sedona on the refrigerator, wondering what it's like, and we're out there once a week. So I try to take that into account, to be grateful for it, to think about how we're experiencing it. But to touch on your question, the next day, I'm feeling very relaxed. like I took care of something, like a piece of my soul is happy. And again, as the weeks go on or a couple of days go, I start to get back. The anxiety builds up, the pressures of life come back, but it's great. It's like medicine for me. It's like I take my medicine and I'm good for a couple of days.
Right.
It's been great for me. Yeah. How do you feel? What do the hikes do for you?
It's just, I'm too excited to even get good sleep. So
hard.
It's hard. I'm just like, oh my God, tomorrow's going to be amazing. We're going to be up early. Everybody there, the energy of the guys. I can't wait to go swimming in and out of the water, just go see new things, just disconnect from life and all the pressures of life. So I'm barely sleeping. I'm up at like 3, 4 in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, can we hurry up and start, you know?
Yes.
So everything's packed. I'm already ready to go. Get to the house, everybody meets up, dude. The anticipation's building up to just get there, and then we're finally there, and everybody's just packs on, walking, and it's like the fun begins, dude. It's like, okay, now it's time to relax from life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's not even about the destination. It's like our whole journey together leading up to that.
And then you get through the hike, you experience like the multitude of things you'll experience out there, which is absolutely incredible. And you come back, you know, the stuff we post too, by the way, people see a smidgen of what goes on out there. Little. Like you're getting like cool little highlight shot of the waterfall, but you have no idea the other stuff you're missing. Right. You know, that's just one snippet of that entire day, dude. It's deep. And then, yeah, the hike's done. You're exhausted. You know, you had a long day, but exhausted, not in a bad way, in like a accomplished way, you know, like, wow, I'm tired, but damn, do I feel good. Mentally refreshed. Like there's not a lot of thoughts running around. It's just like, okay, I'm ready to attack the day tomorrow.
That's a good point. Mind. It's very calming at the end.
Yeah, very. Your mind is just super clear. You're like, man, what a day today, was sick. And then ready to start the day tomorrow, but not jumbled up. There's no like, you know, anxiety about what you need to do or worrying about stuff. It's just like everything got shut off for a minute. It's like everything will be fine. We're ready for the next day, chilling. And then we go get our meal with all the guys together, laugh about things that have happened. And that's it, dude. And for the next few days for me, it's just a calmness. You know, it's just like getting cut off in the traffic. It doesn't matter. Or, you know, nothing that would get on my nerves gets on my nerves.
I agree.
The only thing is, like you say, it just doesn't last, man. You got to go back constantly. For some weird reason, you can only get this little Zen-like moment and for a few days after it. And you can extend it in some weird way by having even a rougher time out there. The more you push yourself and challenge yourself out there, the more it tends to last.
Right.
I've noticed. So if you go out on an easy day, you might only get that little Zen moment for like a day. But if you really had a hellacious day out there and like incredible views and like drained your body, weird. It's like you get it for a few weeks and then the itch comes back, you know, not only the itch to get out there, but now it's like, oh, the anxiety, pressure, this, that mess. And it's like, and you're noticing it building up too. And you're just like, man, I have to get out there. It's getting crazy.
I agree. Yeah, that's absolutely, that's a great way to put it.
So mentally, dude, I just explained it in like one small way, but what it does for a lot of people, it's different for everybody. That's just for us and how we're wired.
Right.
But other people get other mental benefits from it and whatever ways that helps them. And I couldn't recommend it enough, dude. It's nuts.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, just people have to get out there and try it. As small as little as you can go to start building up. And then eventually you'll find your groove. You'll find the way you do it. You'll do what we do now where we hike to water every time. You know, normal hikes are not enough for us. We have to go to the waterfall. We have to go see where we can push it and jump in and have a great time. But
it's, like you said, man, it's free therapy.
Yes.
It's as cheap as you want it.
Well put. Yeah, free therapy. So hopefully people, you know, can take something away from this conversation, and this will
hopefully we sparked some people to be like, wow, hiking kind of sounds dope. It is dope, dude. I hope you do it.
And this will be something we will talk about multiple times, very often, because I know you're like me. We're very passionate about it, and so is the whole crew. So
yeah, just one way to take care of yourself mentally, guys. So worth it. All right.
Absolutely, guys.
Another one done. So we'll catch you episode 3 soon.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Later, guys.